Have you ever made a mistake while speaking English and suddenly felt like giving up? Maybe you forgot a simple word. Maybe you said a sentence incorrectly. Maybe someone corrected you and your confidence disappeared in just a few seconds. I know that feeling because sometimes one small mistake can make our brain say, maybe I'm not good enough.
But Sarah, what if that mistake was actually a sign that you were learning? What if failure was not proof that you were bad at English? What if failure was actually part of becoming better?
Wait, so you're saying my mistakes are helping me? Because sometimes my brain treats mistakes like an emergency.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes our brain reacts to a small English mistake like it is a disaster. But learning a language is not about being perfect from the first day. It is about trying, making adjustments, and continuing.
That actually feels different because many learners think if I make mistakes, people will think my English is bad.
But successful English speakers think differently. They think, I made a mistake. What can I learn from it? That small change in mindset can completely change your progress.
So today we are talking about something every English learner experiences, failure, but not the scary type of failure, the useful type.
Exactly. Today, we will learn English through life lessons from famous failures, discover why mistakes are necessary for growth, and practice useful English phrases like, failure is part of success. I learned from my mistakes. Keep trying.
And we want you to practice with us. So before we continue, answer this question out loud. What is one mistake that taught me something valuable? Don't worry about perfect grammar. Just speak.
Because confidence does not come after perfection. Confidence grows when you keep speaking, even when things are not perfect.
And by the end of this episode, you will see failure differently. You will learn how to talk about mistakes in English, how to recover when you forget words, and how to continue conversations without fear.
And remember this, a mistake is not a closed door. It is information showing you where the next step is.
I like that. Because maybe failure isn't saying stop, maybe it's saying learn something and continue.
Exactly. So let's begin.
Welcome to Daily English, where we learn real English conversations, practical vocabulary, and speaking skills that help you communicate with more confidence.
Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Daily English because every episode is designed to help you speak more naturally, build confidence, and learn real English conversations you can use in everyday life.
Today's topic is important because every English learner faces moments when they feel stuck, and sometimes the biggest problem is not English itself, it's the fear inside our mind.
That's right. Many learners spend years studying English, but they still hesitate when they need to speak. They know grammar rules, they know many words, but when the conversation begins, their mind becomes quiet.
Yes, it's like all the vocabulary disappears exactly when we need it.
The words are there, they're just hiding at the worst possible moment.
Maybe they're taking a vacation.
Maybe, but today we are going to bring those words back by changing the way we think about learning.
Let's start with an honest question. Why are so many English learners afraid of making mistakes?
Great question. I think one reason is that many people connect mistakes with failure. They think, if I make a mistake, I failed. But learning does not work that way.
So what is the difference between making a mistake and failing?
A mistake is an event. Failure is a decision to stop trying.
That is powerful. So making a mistake is something that happens, but giving up is what creates the real problem.
Exactly. Imagine a child learning to walk. A child falls many times, but nobody says, this child is terrible at walking.
Right. Everyone understands that falling is part of learning.
But many adults forget this idea when learning English. They expect themselves to speak perfectly immediately.
That is true. Sometimes learners compare their first conversation with someone else's 10th year of practice.
Exactly. Comparison creates pressure. Practice creates progress.
Let's teach our viewers a useful English phrase here. The phrase is, failure is part of success.
Yes, this means successful people usually experience problems, mistakes, and difficult moments before reaching their goals.
Can we use it in a sentence?
Of course. For example, I was afraid to speak English, but I realized failure is part of success.
Let's practice. Everyone listening, complete this sentence. Failure is part of success. Great. Now say the full sentence. Failure is part of success.
Excellent. And remember, you're not just learning a sentence, you're practicing a new way of thinking.
Because sometimes the biggest language barrier is not vocabulary, it's the fear inside our mind.
Exactly. And here's something interesting. Many successful people failed many times before achieving something important.
Let's talk about that, because I think many learners only see the final success. They don't see the difficult journey.
That's true. Let's look at a few examples.
The first example is someone many people know, Thomas Edison.
Yes, before creating successful inventions, Edison experienced many unsuccessful attempts. The important lesson is not the number of failures. The lesson is his attitude. He continued experimenting and learning.
So instead of thinking, I failed, he thought, I discovered something that did not work.
Exactly. That mindset is useful for English learners too. Instead of saying, my English is terrible, try saying, I discovered what I need to practice.
That feels much more positive.
Another example is famous basketball player Michael Jordan. Many people remember his success, but success came after challenges, practice, and improvement.
So the lesson is, people usually see the result, but they don't see the practice behind it.
Exactly. And this connects directly to learning English. People hear a confident speaker and think they are naturally talented, but they often don't see thousands of small conversations, mistakes, corrections, and practice moments.
So confidence is built, not discovered.
Beautifully said. Confidence is built through action.
Alex, I want to talk about something many learners experience. Some people study English for years. They watch videos, they read books, they memorize vocabulary, but when they need to speak, they still feel nervous. Why does that happen?
That is a very important question. The problem is that many learners collect information, but they do not practice communication.
So they know English, but they don't use English.
Exactly. Think about cooking. You can watch 100 cooking videos. You can memorize every ingredient. You can read every recipe. But if you never enter the kitchen and cook, you will not become a better cook.
That example makes sense. English is also a skill, not just information.
Exactly. Speaking English is like training a muscle. You improve by using it.
Let's discuss some common traps that stop learners from improving.
Great. The first trap is waiting for perfect grammar before speaking.
Trap 1. Waiting for perfect grammar. Oh, this is a big one. Many learners think, when my grammar becomes perfect, then I will start speaking.
Yes, but the problem is that perfection never arrives before practice. Practice creates improvement.
So it is like saying, I will go to the gym after I become strong.
Exactly. That would be a very interesting gym strategy. Imagine someone standing outside the gym saying, I'll enter when I already have muscles.
That would not work. And speaking English works the same way. You become better by speaking. Let's teach a useful phrase here. I am still learning.
Excellent phrase. This phrase removes pressure. For example, I made a mistake, but I'm still learning.
Everyone listening, repeat. I am still learning. Again, I am still learning.
Great. Remember, mistakes are not a reason to stop. They are feedback.
Another problem many learners have is translating everything from their first language.
Yes, translation can help sometimes, but if you translate every single word, speaking becomes slow.
I know this feeling. Your brain is trying to do too many jobs. It is searching for words, checking grammar, translating, and then trying to speak.
Exactly. Your brain is holding a very serious meeting. One part says, find the vocabulary. Another part says, check the grammar. Another part says, are we making a mistake?
And the conversation is waiting outside.
Exactly. The goal is not to translate faster. The goal is to build direct connections with English.
How can learners do that?
Start with simple phrases. For example, don't memorize only the word decision. Learn a complete phrase. I need to make a decision.
So we remember English in groups, not isolated pieces.
Exactly. Native speakers also use patterns in phrases.
Let's practice. I will say the beginning, and viewers complete the sentence. I need to make a
Decision. Excellent. Now, I learned from my
mistakes.
perfect. This is how you build speaking speed.
Let's talk about vocabulary. Many learners have hundreds or thousands of words in their notebook, but they cannot use them in conversation.
Yes, because knowing a word and using a word are different skills.
Can you explain that?
Of course, imagine you have a toolbox. You may own many tools, but if you don't know how to use them, they cannot help you build anything.
So, vocabulary is a tool. Conversation is the building process.
Exactly. Instead of learning 10 random words every day, learn fewer words and create sentences with them.
For today's topic, let's use the word failure. Many learners know this word, but they may not use it naturally.
Let's create examples. I was afraid of failure. The failure taught me an important lesson. Failure helped me improve.
Great. And another important phrase, I learned from my mistakes.
Yes, this phrase is powerful because it changes the focus. You are not saying, I made a mistake. You are saying, I gained something from that experience.
Let's practice together. Complete this sentence. I learned from my
Mistakes. Good. Now personalize it. Think about your own life. I learned from my mistakes when...
Take a moment and finish that sentence. It could be about English, work, school, relationships, anything. Here's another interesting one. Some learners practice English only when they feel motivated.
Yes, but motivation changes. Some days you feel excited. Some days you feel tired.
So what should learners do?
Create small habits. 5 minutes every day can be more powerful than 1 hour once a month.
That reminds me of a phrase, small steps create big changes.
Exactly. Language learning is not one giant moment. It is many small moments repeated.
Like adding one small piece to a puzzle every day.
Beautiful example. One piece may seem unimportant, but after many days, you can see the whole picture.
Let's review what we learned. There are 4 common traps. First, waiting for perfect grammar. Second, translating every sentence. Third, memorizing vocabulary without using it. Fourth, practicing only when motivation appears.
Now answer this question. Which trap affects you the most?
Maybe you wait too long because you want perfect English. Maybe you translate everything. Maybe you are afraid of mistakes.
Whatever your answer is, remember the goal is not to avoid mistakes. The goal is to become better at handling them.
And that brings us to our next section, because now we understand the problem, but we need a practical method, a simple way to train your brain to see mistakes differently.
Exactly. In the next section, we will introduce a method called the progress mirror method.
Interesting name. I want to know what that means.
It is a simple exercise that helps you turn mistakes into evidence of progress.
So instead of seeing mistakes as proof that we are bad, we use them as proof that we are learning?
Exactly. And we'll practice it together.
Okay, Alex, I'm ready. You said we need a practical method to change the way we see mistakes, because I think this is where many learners struggle. They understand the idea, but when they actually make a mistake, they still feel disappointed.
That's very true. Knowing something logically and feeling it emotionally are different. A learner can understand mistakes are part of learning, but after making a mistake, they may still think, my English is terrible.
Exactly. So how do we change that reaction?
We use a method called the progress mirror method.
The progress mirror. I like that name. What does it mean?
A mirror shows you what is there. It does not judge you. It simply gives you information. The progress mirror works the same way. Instead of looking at a mistake and saying, I failed, you look at it and ask, What does this mistake show me?
So the mistake becomes information, not an enemy.
Exactly. Every mistake has a lesson hidden inside it. The first step is notice the moment. When you make a mistake, do not immediately criticize yourself. Pause and observe.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine you are speaking with someone and you say, "Yesterday I go to the market." The person understands you, but the grammar is not correct.
Many learners would immediately think, "Oh no, I made a mistake."
Exactly. But with the progress mirror, you ask, "What happened?" The answer, "I used the wrong past tense."
That sounds much calmer. You are studying the mistake instead of attacking yourself.
Exactly. Step 2, learn the lesson. The second step is find the lesson. Ask, what can I improve next time?
So in our example, yesterday I go to the market. The lesson is, for past events, I need the past form.
Correct. Then you create a better sentence. Yesterday I went to the market.
Simple, but powerful.
Step 3, try again quickly. The third step is try again quickly. Many learners make one mistake and then avoid using that sentence forever.
Yes, they think, I made a mistake with this grammar, so I should not use it.
But avoiding the sentence does not create improvement. Using it again does.
So the process is notice, learn, try again.
Exactly. That is the progress mirror method.
Let me try. Imagine I am introducing myself in an interview. I say, I am working in this company since 3 years.
Good example. Many learners make this type of mistake.
My old reaction would be, oh no, my grammar is wrong. But with the progress mirror, I ask, what can I learn?
Exactly. The improvement is understanding how we talk about time. A better sentence could be, I have been working at this company for 3 years.
Okay, then I try again. I have been working at this company for 3 years.
Excellent. Notice something important. The mistake did not stop the conversation. The correction improved the conversation.
That is a great point. A mistake is not the end of communication.
Exactly.
Now it's your turn. We are going to practice the progress mirror method. I will give you a common mistake. Your job is not to judge it. Your job is to improve it. Ready?
First sentence. I didn't went there yesterday.
Think. What is the lesson?
The improved sentence is, I didn't go there yesterday.
Great. Next one. She don't like coffee.
The improved sentence, she doesn't like coffee.
Excellent. Remember, the goal is not to become someone who makes no mistakes. The goal is to become someone who knows how to improve after mistakes.
Alex, I think this method changes something important. It changes the question in our mind.
Exactly. Many learners ask, why am I making so many mistakes?
But a stronger question is, what is this mistake teaching me?
Beautiful. That question creates curiosity instead of fear.
And curiosity helps learning, because when we are curious, we want to explore.
Exactly. Fear says, hide. Curiosity says, learn.
That is a powerful difference. And here's today's first important reminder. Your mistakes are not a report card showing your weakness. They are a map showing your next step.
I love that, because a map does not insult you when you take the wrong road. It simply helps you find a better direction.
Exactly.
Let's review the progress mirror method. Step 1, notice the moment. Do not panic.
Step 2, learn the lesson. Ask what the mistake teaches you.
Step 3, try again. Use the improved version.
And remember the key phrase, I learned from my mistakes.
Everyone listening, repeat. I learned from my mistakes.
Again, I learned from my mistakes.
Now personalize it. I learned from my mistakes when I...
Great. This is how you connect English with your own life.
So now we have a method to handle mistakes. But there's another important question. What happens when you are speaking and you suddenly forget a word?
Excellent question. Because even advanced speakers forget words sometimes. The difference is that confident speakers know how to continue.
So the next skill is not avoiding problems, it is recovering from problems.
Exactly. We will practice real speaking situations where you have to continue even when your English is not perfect.
Alex, I think this is one of the biggest fears for English learners. They are not only afraid of making mistakes, they are afraid of what happens after the mistake.
Exactly. Many learners think, if I forget a word, the conversation is over. But confident speakers know something important. A missing word does not mean a missing conversation.
That is a great sentence, because sometimes one forgotten word can completely stop someone.
Yes, but there are many ways to continue. You can explain the idea, you can ask for help, you can use another word, you can describe what you mean.
So today, we are not learning how to avoid every problem. We are learning how to handle problems.
Exactly. That's a real communication skill.
Let's imagine a situation. You are talking about your job. You want to say a word, but you forget it. Your brain says, I know this word, but where is it?
Yes, the word is somewhere in your memory. It's just hiding.
Maybe it's taking a short holiday?
Exactly. But instead of becoming silent, use a repair phrase.
Let's learn some useful phrases.
You can say, let me think for a moment.
Repeat. Let me think for a moment.
You can also say, I can't remember the exact word, but...
That is very useful because you are continuing the conversation.
Exactly. For example, I can't remember the exact word, but it's a place where people borrow books.
The listener can help you. A library?
Exactly. You solve the problem without stopping.
Now, your turn. Imagine you forget the word umbrella. Describe it without saying the word. Ready?
I can't remember the exact word, but it's something we use when it rains.
Great. The listener can understand your meaning. The important thing is communication. Now, let's talk about grammar mistakes. Many learners believe if my grammar is wrong, I should stop and correct myself immediately.
Sometimes correction is useful, but stopping every few seconds can damage your confidence.
So, what should we do?
Prioritize communication first, then improve later.
Can we demonstrate?
Sure. Imagine Sarah says, I went to a restaurant yesterday and I ate pizza,
Oh no, I used the wrong tense.
but I still understood you. The message was clear.
So instead of stopping and saying, sorry, wait, my grammar was incorrect, I can continue.
Exactly. You can finish your idea. Then, later think, I learned from my mistakes.
This feels much less stressful. What about nervousness? Sometimes learners know the answer, but fear blocks them.
That happens often. A useful strategy is to slow down.
Slow down? Not speak faster?
Exactly. Many nervous speakers think speed creates confidence, but often calm speaking creates confidence.
So take a moment, breathe, organize your idea, then speak.
Yes, you can use phrases like, that's an interesting question. Let me think about that. In my opinion,
These phrases give your brain time.
exactly. They are not just words, they are communication tools.
Let's do a real conversation. Imagine I am in a job interview. The interviewer asks, what is a challenge you faced, and how did you overcome it?
Great question. Answer naturally. Don't worry about perfection.
Challenge I faced. One challenge I faced was learning English. At first, I was afraid to speak because I made mistakes, but I practiced every day and I learned from my mistakes.
Excellent. That answer shows growth.
Would it be okay if I made a small grammar mistake while saying that?
Yes, because your message is powerful. Communication is not only grammar, it is also your ideas, your confidence, and your ability to continue.
Let's practice one important sentence from today's lesson. Listen first.
Failure is part of success because every mistake teaches us something valuable.
Now repeat with us. Failure is part of success because every mistake teaches us something valuable.
Again, the focus on the rhythm. Failure is part of success. Every mistake teaches us something valuable.
Great. Notice how we do not say every word with the same strength. Natural English has rhythm. Let's review our speaking tools. If you forget a word, say, I can't remember the exact word, but...
If you need time, say, let me think for a moment.
If you make a mistake, continue. Do not let one small mistake end the conversation.
Exactly. Remember, strong speakers are not people who never make mistakes. They are people who know how to move forward after mistakes.
That idea changes everything, because now failure is not something we run away from. It becomes something we learn from.
Alex, we have talked about mistakes, but I think there is another reason learners lose confidence. They don't notice their progress.
Excellent observation. Many learners only measure what they cannot do. They say, I still cannot speak fluently. I still make mistakes. I still forget words.
They look at the distance they need to travel, but they forget to look back at how far they have already come.
Exactly. That is why we need our second method, the small win system.
I like this. What is a small win?
A small win is any improvement that moves you forward. It could be speaking for 1 extra minute, using a new phrase correctly, recovering after forgetting a word, understanding a conversation better.
So, progress is not only becoming perfect.
Exactly. Progress is becoming slightly better than yesterday.
Let's compare two mindsets. Weak version. I studied English for 5 years, but I still make mistakes.
Improved version. I studied English for 5 years and now I can communicate better than before. I still have areas to improve.
The second one feels more encouraging because it includes reality and progress. You recognize your challenges without ignoring your achievements.
Let's create another example. Weak version. My English is bad because I forgot a word during a conversation.
Improved version. I forgot a word during a conversation, but I explained my idea and continued speaking.
That is a completely different feeling.
Exactly. The small win system trains your brain to notice growth.
Now, create your own small win. Complete this sentence. Today, I improved my English by...
Maybe you watched an English video. Maybe you learned a phrase. Maybe you spoke for 5 minutes. Maybe you tried even though you felt nervous.
Every attempt counts.
Exactly, because consistency creates confidence.
Alex, we have learned a lot about mistakes and confidence, but I think many learners want to know, how does this work in real life? Because conversations are not always comfortable practice exercises.
Exactly. Real conversations are unpredictable. Sometimes you forget words. Sometimes you misunderstand someone. Sometimes you need extra time to explain your idea.
So today, let's imagine a real situation.
Great. Let's choose a workplace conversation because many English learners need English for meetings and professional communication.
Perfect. Imagine someone is in an online meeting with international colleagues. They need to share an idea, but they feel nervous.
Let's show 2 versions. First, the fearful version, then the confident version. Sarah, can you share your opinion about the new project?
Yes, I think... Sorry, I don't know how to explain. Maybe my idea is not good.
What happens here?
The person has an idea, but fear stops them.
Exactly. The problem is not English ability. The problem is confidence.
Because she already had something valuable to say.
Exactly. Now let's improve the conversation. Sarah, can you share your opinion about the new project?
Sure, I have an idea. Let me explain it. I think we can improve the project by focusing more on customer feedback.
That's a great point. Can you explain why?
Yes, I believe customer feedback can help us understand what people really need.
Excellent. Notice something important. Sarah did not use complicated vocabulary. She used clear ideas.
And I didn't try to create a perfect answer. I simply communicated.
Exactly. That is how confident communication works.
Let's teach some phrases learners can use when they feel stuck.
Great. Phrase number 1. Let me explain it another way.
This is useful when your first explanation is unclear.
Example. I don't know the exact word, but let me explain it another way.
Great. Phrase number 2, what I mean is...
Excellent phrase. It helps you correct or improve your idea. Example, what I mean is practice is more important than perfection.
And phrase number 3, could you repeat that, please?
Very important. Many learners think asking someone to repeat is a failure, but it is actually a communication skill.
Right. Even fluent speakers ask people to repeat things.
Exactly.
Now, we want you to practice. Imagine someone asks you, what is one goal you want to achieve this year?
Do not worry about creating a perfect answer. Just start speaking. Use this structure. My goal is. One reason is, I'm working on it by.
Great. Now, another question. What is one mistake that taught you something important?
Remember today's phrase, I learned from my mistakes.
Excellent. You are practicing real communication. I noticed something interesting. The biggest change is not only learning new English, it's changing how we react when something goes wrong.
Exactly. A learner who knows fewer words but keeps communicating can often improve faster than someone who knows many words but is afraid to use them.
That is a powerful idea.
And now we are going to discuss an important skill, because problems will happen. You will forget words. You will make grammar mistakes. You will feel nervous. The question is, what will you do next?
Let's imagine a learner is having a conversation. Everything is going well. Then suddenly, nothing. The mind becomes empty.
The famous English learning moment. You know the word at home, you practice the word alone, but during the conversation, the word disappears.
Maybe the word says, I will return after the conversation.
Exactly. But confident speakers have recovery strategies. Problem 1, you forget a word. First strategy, describe the idea. Do not stop.
Example.
You forget the word charger. Instead of becoming silent, say, the thing I use to give power to my phone.
The listener understands.
Exactly. Communication continues.
Problem 2, you make a grammar mistake. What if someone corrects you?
First, stay calm. A correction is not an attack. It is information.
So instead of feeling embarrassed, think, great, now I know something useful.
Exactly. You can say, thank you for correcting me.
That sounds professional and confident. Problem 3, you lose your idea. Sometimes I know the topic, but my answer becomes too long.
Yes. Sometimes our sentence starts as a simple answer and becomes a full autobiography.
That happens.
It's a useful strategy is to organize your answer. Use first. Another point is finally.
These simple words give your answer structure.
Exactly.
Let's practice quick answers. You have 3 seconds to start speaking. Ready?
Question 1. What is something you failed at before but improved later?
Possible answer. I failed at speaking English confidently, but improved through regular practice.
Good. Question 2. What advice would you give someone who is afraid of mistakes?
Possible answer. Keep trying because mistakes help you learn.
Excellent.
I think many people need to hear this. You don't need permission to practice.
Exactly. You do not need perfect English before you start communicating. Communication itself helps you improve.
So the goal is not never make mistakes.
The goal is know how to continue.
Let's remember today's important phrases. Failure is part of success. I learned from my mistakes. Keep trying.
And one more. Progress is better than perfection.
Beautiful. Alex, I think learners understand the ideas now, but sometimes they need to see a complete conversation, not a perfect conversation, a real one.
Exactly. Real communication includes pauses, mistakes, corrections, and moments where we need to think. So let's create a realistic situation.
Let's imagine 2 friends talking about learning English.
Good. First, we will show a natural conversation where a learner makes a mistake. Then, we will improve it.
Hey, Alex, I wanted to tell you something. I started practicing English conversations last month.
That's great, Sarah. How has it been going?
Honestly, it was difficult at the beginning. I was very nervous because I think people will judge me when I make mistakes.
I understand. What happened when you tried speaking?
One day, I was talking with someone online. I wanted to explain my opinion, but I forget many words.
That happens. What did you do?
I became quiet. I thought, maybe my English is not good enough.
I understand that feeling. But what happened next?
The person told me, take your time, it's okay. Then I tried again.
That's a great moment. What did you learn?
I learned that mistakes are not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is stopping.
Exactly.
But wait, did I say something wrong? I said, I forget many words.
Good question. The natural correction is, I forgot many words, because you are talking about a past situation.
Right, I forgot many words.
Excellent. And notice something important. You made a mistake. We corrected it. You continued. That is successful learning.
Let's look at what happened. First, I made a mistake. Second, I received feedback. Third, I improved.
Exactly. This is the learning cycle. Mistake, feedback, improvement.
Not mistake, shame, stop.
Exactly. That is the mindset change we want learners to remember.
Now let's try the same situation again, but this time I will use the strategies we learned.
Great. Let's begin. Sarah, how has your English practice been going?
It has been challenging, but I am improving. At first, I was afraid of making mistakes, but now I understand that failure is part of success.
Excellent. What helped you change your mindset?
I started looking at mistakes differently. Instead of thinking, my English is bad, I think, what can I learn from this?
That is a powerful answer.
Also, when I forget a word, I don't stop anymore. I say, I can't remember the exact word, but let me explain.
Perfect. That is exactly what confident communicators do.
So, what changed between the first and second conversation?
The English was not completely different. The mindset was different.
That's interesting. The learner did not suddenly learn 1,000 new words.
Exactly. The learner learned how to use the English they already had.
That's an important lesson. Sometimes we don't need more information, we need more confidence using what we know.
Exactly.
Let's practice some phrases from this conversation. Phrase number 1. I am still improving.
Repeat. I am still improving.
Phrase number 2. What can I learn from this?
Repeat. What can I learn from this?
Phrase number 3. I can't remember the exact word, but...
Repeat. I can't remember the exact word, but...
These phrases are powerful because they help you continue. Now it is time for a speaking challenge. This activity is designed to help you start speaking faster.
Here is the rule. Do not search for the perfect answer. Start with what you know.
Remember, progress first, perfection later.
What is one thing you failed at before, but improved later?
A possible answer? I failed at speaking English confidently, but I improved because I kept practicing.
Great. Notice the structure. Problem, action, improvement. What is one mistake that taught you an important lesson?
A possible answer? I made a mistake when I stopped practicing, but I learned that consistency is important.
Excellent. How do you feel when you make mistakes while speaking English?
A possible answer? I feel nervous sometimes, but I remind myself that mistakes help me learn.
Great. What advice would you give to someone who is afraid of failure?
A possible answer? Keep trying. Failure is part of success.
Excellent. What is one small English goal you want to achieve this week?
A possible answer? My goal is to speak English for 10 minutes every day.
Wonderful.
Alex, many learners think their answers must be long.
Yes. But a clear short answer is better than a complicated answer you cannot finish.
So start small. 1 sentence, then 2, then more.
Exactly. Speaking confidence grows step by step.
I feel like today's message is becoming very clear. Failure is not something that blocks learning. It is something that guides learning.
Exactly. But now we need to make this practical, because knowing an idea is different from building a habit.
So next, we are going to create a 7-day challenge, a simple plan viewers can actually follow.
Yes, 7 days, small actions, more confidence, better communication.
Alex, I think many learners are feeling motivated right now, but motivation can disappear. So how can they turn this lesson into action?
Great question. The best way is to create a simple practice system, not something impossible, not something that takes hours every day. Small actions create strong habits.
So today, we are creating a 7-day challenge.
Exactly. The goal is not to become perfect in 7 days. The goal is to become more comfortable speaking, making mistakes, and continuing.
Day 1, change your failure story. What happens on day 1?
Day 1 is about changing your mindset. Take 5 minutes and write one English mistake you made in the past. Maybe you forgot a word. Maybe you made a grammar mistake. Maybe you were afraid to speak.
Then what?
Write this sentence. I learned from my mistakes because, and complete it.
Example, I learned from my mistakes because they showed me what I need to practice.
Exactly. The goal is to see mistakes as lessons.
Day 2, practice useful sentence starters. Day 2 sounds practical.
Yes, learn and practice sentence starters. For example, in my opinion, one thing I learned is, I think the most important lesson is.
These phrases help because starting is often the hardest part.
Exactly. Many learners know what they want to say, they just don't know how to begin.
Let's practice one. Complete, one thing I learned from failure is.
Excellent. Day 3, record your voice. This one can feel scary, recording yourself.
Yes, but it is very useful. Record a 1-minute answer to this question. What is something difficult that helped me grow? And don't judge yourself immediately.
Exactly. Listen again and notice progress, not only mistakes.
Look for, did I speak clearly? Did I continue? Did I express my idea?
Day 4, practice recovery skills. Day 4 connects with what we learned earlier.
Yes. Today, practice handling problems. Say these phrases aloud. Let me think for a moment. I can't remember the exact word, but. Could you repeat that, please?
These phrases are like emergency tools for conversations.
Exactly. They help you stay calm.
Day 5, complete a role play. What should learners practice on day 5?
Choose a real-life situation. For example, a job interview, a meeting, a conversation with a new friend, a classroom discussion.
Then practice answering questions?
Yes, but remember, do not memorize a perfect script. Practice expressing your own ideas.
Day 6, speak without stopping. This sounds challenging.
It is a confidence exercise. Speak for 2 minutes about what failure taught me.
Even if I make mistakes?
Especially if you make mistakes. Remember the goal. Continue.
That is a powerful reminder. Day 7, review your progress. The final day.
Day 7 is about reflection. Record the same answer from day 3. Then compare.
The goal is not perfect English.
Exactly. Look for improvement. Did you start faster? Did you pause less? Did you organize your ideas better? Did you recover from mistakes?
These are real signs of progress.
7-day challenge review. Let's quickly review. Day 1, change your failure story. Day 2, practice sentence starters. Day 3, record your voice. Day 4, practice recovery phrases. Day 5, complete a role play. Day 6, speak without stopping. Day 7, review your improvement.
This challenge is simple, but if someone actually follows it, they will notice a change.
Exactly. Small, consistent actions build confidence.
Alex, I think the biggest lesson today is not only about English. It's about how we treat ourselves while learning.
Absolutely. Learning anything new requires patience. You will make mistakes. You will have difficult days, but every attempt gives you experience.
And maybe the question shouldn't be, how can I avoid failure?
The better question is, how can I use failure to grow?
I love that.
Remember, failure is not the opposite of success. It's often one of the steps towards success.
And when you make a mistake, remember, I learned from my mistakes.
And most importantly, keep trying.
Today, we learned that mistakes don't mean you're bad at English. They mean you're practicing.
We talked about 3 important ideas. Failure is part of success. Mistakes can teach you valuable lessons, and confidence grows when you keep communicating.
Your action for today is simple. Speak one English sentence about a mistake that helped you learn something.
And share it in the comments. Complete this sentence. I learned from my mistakes when I...
We would love to read your answers and learn from your experiences.
And if you enjoyed this lesson, subscribe to Daily English. Every episode helps you practice real English conversations, improve your listening, build practical vocabulary, and become more confident speaking English.
Remember, you don't need perfect English to start. You need courage to continue.
And every time you try, you're improving.
So keep learning, keep practicing, and keep trying. See you in the next Daily English episode.